We are live, we are direct with the Leaders That Scale podcast with Tina Dao, founder and principal, partnering with business owners and decision makers to ease the burden of company leadership and embrace the discipline needed to create long term value. You might find her working with some startups or Fortune 1 companies, scaling, transforming performance across R&D, design, development, engineering, supply chain, sales, distribution, and customer services. Straight out of Hickory, North Korea. North Korea? North Carolina, even. We got Tina in the building. North Korea. Maybe I had Korea in my mind because, hey, you help people's careers go north. I try to say, I'm trying to save myself here. You know what I mean? I'm getting creative here. Wow, what a pleasure to have you here, Tina. You've got the energy, you've got the soul. Tell me, what does leadership mean to you? To me, it means courage. To me, it means emotional intelligence. What's it mean for Tina?
It is not a place of power. It is a choice. And, part of our mission at Liberated Leaders is to cultivate more courageous, empathetic, and effective leaders in the world. And we happen to do that through business and privately owned businesses. But that's what it means to us is daily choices every day. That's what leadership really is.
Amazing. Tell me, I know you've worked from them all, from startups to Fortune 1 companies. Tell me what an ideal company is for you. You might tell me, Jay, look, that's a tech startup company. That might be a manufacturing company with 10 to 20 employees so I can get to the decision maker. What is it for you?
So for me, and I'll give you a little bit of why, so that you understand why is this, especially since I spent 20 years in technology and another decade in construction industry and so forth. The what I'm about to tell you of what it is because I'm the daughter of a serial entrepreneur. And my parents, and especially my father, repeatedly knew how to create businesses and really looked at it from the lens of not only making profit for themselves, but their employees, their customers, and their contribution to the community. This is often known as conscious capitalism. So when I started Liberated Leaders, I said, I want to help people who are like that, privately owned businesses. And we really work with two different types of those business owners and their businesses. One are owner operators. So those are the people who they may have 3 up to 30 or more employees, but they're still in the day to day working in the business. We help them move from that in the business to working on the business so that they'll be able to harvest from it. The other type are small to medium size. We personally like to work with companies that have less than 1,000 employees, just because we can have a greater impact faster. Not obviously, I've worked in Fortune 1, so I can work with thousands, and there's actually millions of people in that company. But we choose to work with those that have about 1,000 or fewer in the small to mid-sized market. In addition to that, in terms of the work that we do, is really industry agnostic, and we have to pick who are we going to be talking to and spending time trying to cultivate the relationships in an industry. So that is commercial and industrial construction. Typically, you find that there are 3 types of companies in that industry. There's the architect engineering firms. So they do they're designing and creating the specifications and helping people's visions come true. There's the general contractors, they're pulling it all together, and then there are the trades.
Okay, now that makes complete sense. Tell me, what does a typical day look like for you? Let's take today, for example. Okay, you finish off with me, you got a meeting coming up. Like, what does a typical day look like?
Well, so my responsibilities are a lot about business development. I do also work with business owners on our delivery. But a typical day can look like, you said, oh, I got up for this. Actually, I usually get up very early. And I start with my own practices of meditation and so forth. I usually do my creative work. So writing thought pieces, creating content or materials that the business owners can use and that we need when we're doing delivery, and topics that are relevant for them. We do some internal meetings like stand up, and then I will often be talking to business owners in the community, other advisors like CPAs, attorneys, financial advisors, so that they see the pain points a lot of times with the business owners. And business owners a lot of times don't realize that what a fractional COO is, how they could use it, and how a company like ours can help them maximize their value. So I'm working with those folks and giving them tools in order to better serve their clients. And then I'll work when I'm working with the business owners that we work with. I hate to use the term client because it feels very transactional. We really build a closer relationship with than that, and we kind of become part of their team. But those people who are working with us and that we're working with them, when I'm in that kind of delivering for them, I'm looking at it in that as an architect. What is the overall, what is it they need? Where are the places where I may need to bring someone else from our team in order to accomplish the goals that we've set out for the next 90 days?
Okay, perfect. When I used to teach economics, I always told the students, hey, you know, a government might run a policy, but there's external forces that might make that policy not work. Pestle, political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental. In the industry that we're in right now, in terms of business growth, scaling, what are some of those external factors that, hey, could leave a business in trouble unless they take heed of these two factors?
Oh my gosh, there is so much happening right now, Jay, and it's happening faster than it's ever happened before. It's so there are major technology changes happening. Um, the thing with that is the going from research and development to commercialization to wide distribution and adoption, that scale has just shrunk tremendously. And the term AI, which is really generative AI, is largely what people mean when they say that. But robotics, the third wave of artificial intelligence, is huge. It's having a huge impact. There's obviously a lot of things happening with geopolitically. In the United States, you have things like tariffs. So manufacturers, builders, right? Anybody who needs hard goods and supplies, retailers, all of those things, there's a lot of uncertainty, just a lot of uncertainty happening. And um, with all of that uncertainty, a lot of times people tend to freeze. Or, a lot of people kind of want to shrink up into their ball. And we always talk about having some kind of a balanced approach so that you're not just completely saying, oh, we can't do anything. It's like, what can you be learning? What can you be curious about? What can you be testing? And how can you be looking at all of these changes and all these uncertainties? Is there a place for you to actually leverage some of that and your own core abilities and strengths for your company to kind of, when everyone else is hitting the brake, that you find a place and then you hit the gas.
Mhm.
So my dad would use, in addition to an entrepreneur, he was a race car driver. Now I live in North Carolina now, which I don't know if you're aware, that is NASCAR, the home of NASCAR.
Yeah.
But it originated with stock cars and dirt tracks, which is what my dad drove. And there's a counterintuitive thing in the driving that he would always talk about. And that was when you headed into the turn, people who just drive on the streets think, oh, you hit the brake. He was said, no, you don't. You actually hit the gas to help take you through the turn. So I think there's a lesson in there for business owners of how do you be skilled and how do you get the right expertise to help you identify where's the place and how do we hit the gas rather than hitting the brake in these uncertain times.
Amazing. Love that analogy. Thanks for painting that picture ever so vivid.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. I like the Wayne Gretzky. I'm not sure if you've heard the Wayne Gretzky quote in terms of, you know, don't skate to where the puck is, but skate to where the puck is going.
Yes.
And so, in terms of the industry that we're in, maybe things are going in a certain way. So, if we're all focused on where things are, like right now, by the time we, by the time we react, we realize, hey, look, what happened? You know,
Yes.
so it's having that foresight of where's that puck going?
Yeah.
Finding that opportunity, that leverage, that
Yeah.
vantage point there. So makes
Yeah.
complete sense.
This is an important time of year. A lot of times people get stuck in the like, oh, we don't have time, it's too uncertain, we can't do planning. Actually, this is when and planning a lot of times I understand why planning gets sort of this like, oh, we're gonna sit around and then we're gonna make a plan and then it's gonna sit there and we're not gonna do anything with it. No, it's sort of like this is a really important time
Hmm.
to be saying we're gonna carve out time, we're gonna have strategic conversations, we're going to only write down the things that are the most essential so that we are able to communicate based on whatever size of team or group of people we have. And the thing is, though, is that looking out 3 to 5 to 10 years, depending on your industry, it's actually really crucial to do that because you can't be trying to anticipate where the puck is going. As Gretzky says, if you don't if you don't take a step back and say, hold on, let's look. Yeah. So, and this is a really beautiful time of year to say, we're going to be intentional and we're going to do that. That's part of how we, a lot of times, start working with business owners is facilitating an offsite or a retreat. And then they see how much value they get out of that. And we start then helping them move from that strategy to how do they execute it then.
Amazing. I get an insight as to what your clients get, Tina. This is why you get those six-figure contracts. I can see why. I can see exactly why. Tell me, you speak to me about reflective time,
Mhm.
that perfect time to reflect. What's the goal for you this time next year? What would make it a splendid year? We were to touch base again. Yeah, what's the goal?
Um, so we liberated leaders will be at, let's say, 90% of our delivery capacity, which, if you look at our website, we have built in the only 2 years that we've been in existence, we already have a team of people who are experts in certain fields, and there are people you don't even see on the website because they're still going through our vetting process. And that capacity, the reason I'm doing that in those terms, that means there are the number of business owners that we're able to have an impact and help them with that, easing their burden and embracing what is possible, embracing a dream that is big enough to be liberated. We would have a slot of business owners that we're working with that are reaching toward that. In some situations, they're doing it together, and in some, we're working with them individually. That's this time next year, we're at that, Jay, and we will have had a very successful 2026.
Amazing. That makes sense. So you're looking to, so just to get that clear, you're looking to get to 90% capacity,
Yes,
or
correct.
okay,
Correct.
amazing. Tell me, I know readers are leaders, and I know you are certainly a reader. This
Yes.
is what I'm getting stuck into right now. How to win friends and influence, because I think right now it's less about the content, it's more about the context. Trust has gone down.
Yeah.
So it's how about how we connect, then we
That's
potentially deliver the ideas. What are you reading right now? And give us one or two golden nuggets from what you're reading right now.
So Brene Brown's
Oh yeah.
latest book, Strong Ground.
Mm.
Uh, uh, I love her work. She cites so many other people. And every time I read one of her books, or consume one of her books, she's referencing so many other authors and experts. So a couple of golden nuggets from her this latest book. Um, she's very good at creating terms that are easy to pick up. So mindset skill set is part of what her company uses, uh, which I couldn't agree with more. It starts with the mindset, and then skills and tools and everything are relatively easy. It is carving the new neuro pathways and being able to unlearn and relearn things that is crucial, especially during this time. And then the second golden nugget is um, where she's talking about we've had in the last century, slightly more, there have been three major transitions in our economy. There was the industrial age, and that was ruled by the workers who physical labor, etc. Then we went to the knowledge worker age, and now we're going to the workers who are able to be symphonic and in their thinking. And so they're more right-brained. So those are the two golden nuggets that I'll give you from her book.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Final question. When you connect with these CEOs and you're beginning to run the intervention, talk me through the three pillars that you use to affect change in organizations.
Well, so what we do is we always start by, and I use the metaphor of an architect because we use the creativity of an artist and the precision of an engineer in how we go about things. So we like to start with the kind of a survey phase or a fit study. We need to know what is actually help people with what is actually happening in their business And how is it seen from a perspective even of like a potential buyer? Now, it doesn't mean
Mhm.
you have to be looking to sell your business, but that gives a lens that is clear and helps you to start to think about how do you maximize the value of your company. So when we do that, we're looking at the four intangible capitals to assess and see where you're at and where the value actually is in your company, because 80% of the company value is not on your balance or P&L, on your balance sheet or your P&L. So human capital, customer, structural, and social. And we go through and we look at that and are able to score the major behaviors and things that we would expect to see. So we have a solid place to start, so that then we can say what is the highest priority and start building up this idea of taking pieces, making progress, not trying to do everything at once. What's most critical, make progress, get momentum, and every 90 days have a sprint of taking a piece of what you need to do strategically and making it executable for that, and so that over a year you can see incredible progress with this method.
Wow. Very well thought out. Do you have you got a book that you like to promote? Is there a book
I
there?
don't have a book yet.
There
It's
needs to be a book there, Tina. The liberated leader. There needs to be that book. So I'm giving you 3 months, my sister. 3 months. Because some of the ideas are so vivid and succinct. That book's got to be out there.
Thank you. Well, it's on the roadmap.
Amazing. How can I get in contact with you, and who exactly are you looking for, Tina?
So, liberatedleaders.com. Uh, you can, when you hit the Let's Talk button, you can book time on our calendar. We do a 30-minute strategy session, complimentary, so we get to know, start to get to know each other a bit. And I'm looking for business owners who have anywhere from 3 to 1,000 employees,
Wow.
those who have a dream
Wow.
or want to find the dream that is big enough to liberate them.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. Hiya, Tina. Look, this woman is simply the best. Look, that's it. That's the power.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that. I love that blend of strategy, energetics, mindset, embodiment, like all of the things. I love it. That
Thank you.
blend between left brain and right brain, Tina, you rock. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Jay.
Amazing to connect.